The communication skill that changes everything. If you're wanting to know what communication skill that can and will change everything for you, you have come to the right place. Have a seat. Let's have a chat. I wanted to make this video because there's a lot of things on the internet that talk about, what to say, how to say it, how do I come off as, high status when I'm talking. And a lot of the time, it's a lot more simple. It's a lot simpler than just figuring out what to say and how to say it and then adjusting, right? It's really simple because what would make you want to say something in the first place? What would make you want to say something a certain way, right? What does that come down to? Obviously, it's like, well, my thoughts. My thoughts would. What caused those thoughts in your brain? And what caused those thoughts in your brain is your interpretation of what was said to you in said conversation, right? So let's say, yeah, you're having a conversation and something was said to you from the point of the words leaving the person that you're talking to's mouth, hitting your ears, and in the 6 inches between your ears, you have your interpretation machine, your brain. Your brain. Now, your brain is going to process what's being said, right? Now, how you interpret what is being said is going to be based on a few things. It's going to be based on your perception of the world, your perception of reality, your perception of the person that you're talking to, and your perception of, yes, yourself. Okay, so we have all that down. How you interpret something is going to be based on, let me fix this mic. How you interpret something is going to be based on your perception of reality, of the person that you're talking to, and your perception of yourself. Those three at play. Now, if you are a unconfident person, if you're not a confident person, what is your perception of all three of those things? It's so crazy, right? Like this can get really deep, but it's simple. It's really simple. If you're not a confident person, your interpretation of reality is probably it's not in your favor whatsoever. Reality is against you, right? Reality is against you. The person that you're talking to, you might view as way above you. And well, your perception of yourself is probably low if you're not confident. You probably don't think very highly of yourself. So now the thoughts that are going to be processed in your brain as this person is talking to you are probably not going to be good. And so from that point, now when you talk, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be junk. Junk's going to come out. And there's going to be all these little leakages of how unconfident of a person you are in like while you're talking. You're going to be your body language is going to exude low status. And when I say status, I'm not talking about money because to be a high status person, you don't need to have money. However, high status people do tend to have money. Those two things kind of go hand in hand. And if not money, they certainly have resources. And if they don't have resources, they certainly have resourcefulness. They know how to get a hold of resources because they understand that seek and yet you shall find. Seek and you shall find. Okay. So going back to the communication skill that will change everything, interpretation. When somebody says something to you, right? An easy way to get way better at this is just ask yourself better questions, right? And this could be I've dealt with guys before, right? And guys come to me and pause. I haven't you get what I'm saying. Guys have came to me before with needing help with women. And they'll be like, "Oh, this girl hasn't responded to me in, a certain amount of time and blah blah blah," right? Like and what your brain goes to right away when a girl hasn't responded is she's not interested in me anymore, right? Okay, that's a bit of a jump. So her not responding to you for some time equals equals she's not interested in you. Got it. Why can't it mean she was busy? Why can't it mean um why can't it mean she thinks you are way out of her league and you intimidated her? Why can't it mean those things, right? Now, the fact that you're already thinking low of yourself, it yeah, she probably wasn't interested in you anymore. And it's because of that, right? It's because of that. Hey, you know what I think? When a girl that I'm interested in doesn't answer my calls or, you know, doesn't respond for a period of time, and I just met her, I'm like, she's shy. Oh, look, that's so cute. She's so shy. Like, it's just, that's just what I think. And if it's not true, on to the next one. Like, who cares? So, a confident person also thinks this person, I don't need this person to like me. I just need to find the person that does. Because not everybody will, but the people that do will. And they will be in total love, right? Okay. So now we're kind of, you follow where I'm going? I hope I am not leading you astray because that's not what I'm here to do. So, confidence, confidence, confidence. Where does confidence come from, right? Where does confidence come from? Confidence comes from the relationship that you have with yourself. I told you we're getting deep here because we started with interpretation, but your interpretation is also going to be based on the relationship that, yes, you have with yourself. I also mentioned reality. I also mentioned the other person. Out of all those three, the relationship that you have with yourself is way more important than those other two. And I'm gonna tell you why, because everything is going to be a reflection of you anyway. The person that's in front of you, listen, the person that's in front of you is in front of you because of you. Wait, there we go. Because of you. The person that's in front of you is in front of you because of you. Either you approach this person, they approached you. I mean, how many, or maybe you guys just kind of came together mutually. I mean, somehow, some way, right? Okay. So we have that down. Now, your view of other people, if you view yourself as, or if you have a good relationship with yourself, right, and you're a confident person, you don't place people on a pedestal right away just because of looks, because of how you, I guess it's mostly going to be looks, how you've seen them carry themselves, how you might have seen them talk. I mean, this person that you're talking to could be something, or could be somebody that you've seen before, like around, maybe at your gym, maybe at your job, your work. You might have seen them being, super confident, super charismatic, or vice versa. They're kind of down. But whatever your interpretation of them is based on some prior thing, if, well, depending how long it was before, right? But let's just say this is a total stranger. You just met this person. Let's just, for the sake of this example, let's say, yeah, you're a man meeting a woman at like a grocery store. You just seen her, right? Okay, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's has a nice smile, right? Okay. A confident person is not going to place a woman on a pedestal based on how she looks. He might fancy the way she looks, right? Like, damn, she's cute, right? I like her smile. I don't know her yet. This could be a horrible person. This could be like one of the one of the most terrible people I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, oh, because she's fine. Because she's fine shit. Like, I'm like, no. This could be a horrible person. Like, this could be somebody that has committed atrocities, set dudes up. I mean, who knows? Anyway, to my point, what happens when you see somebody that is beautiful, though, this is a psychological phenomenon, is called the halo effect. where because somebody is pretty, and this could be towards men too, because you see a man and this is a good looking guy, he's handsome, suit on and all that and in shape. Oh, this person has it all put together. It's an illusion. I repeat, it is an illusion. Okay. So a confident person is not going to place this person on a pedestal. Got it. All right. So moving forward, when you are meeting somebody, you don't place them up here. You also don't place them all the way down there, but you're kind of like, okay, this person looks nice. Let me be curious about them. Okay. So you're attracted to the person because what's the difference between curiosity and attraction? Nothing. If you're curious about something, you're attracted to it. Okay, we got that. So you approach this person. You, like I said, man, woman, grocery store. You approach this woman, and you know anything could go down from this point. You could start the conversation with a compliment. Hey, I noticed you from over there. I just had to come introduce myself. I thought you were really pretty. My name is Anthony. My name is whatever your name is, right? Now you offer her an opportunity to speak. Now, whatever she says, right? You have the ability to interpret that however you like. However you like. She could laugh. You can think, oh my God, is she laughing at me? Or you could be like, oh, I'm making her nervous. She's got the nervous giggles, right? You could even call it out. Be like, is that your nervous laugh? Like, you could say anything. You could say, I like your laugh, even something like that, right? It'll make her laugh even more. But you see how if you thought that she was laughing at you, you would have thought, like, oh, you might even just walk away from the conversation, put your head down and, you know? But because you're interpreting, and it's so crazy because you're interpreting her reactions, her little micro expressions as like, oh, she likes me, it exudes confidence. And what is attractive to women? What is attractive to people? Confidence. Oh, this guy knows who he is. Like this guy knows he's got it. Whatever it is. Same person could be totally insecure. I mean, let me put it like this, and I'm not saying I recommend this at all, but just to make my point clear, you could pretend to be confident and a whole entire situation can go your way. And then you walk away from that interaction. Like I said, you were acting. You were acting like you were confident. You were acting like you had game, like you had charisma, like you had moxie. It was all an act. And you can get a beautiful result. And now, guess what? When you walk away from this interaction, your mind is completely changed. You're like, wait a minute, that was real. And then, okay. So then we start the internal dialogue, right? I'm about to make a whole section on internal dialogues because I think having an internal dialogue and like, what word do I want to? I wanted to say something. I don't want to say that. Having an internal dialogue that is just like, how can I put this? Anyway, when you have an internal dialogue that is very high status, that is like, I'm the man, like it's just very like, you know, um, that is like one of the most important things that you can have as a man, even, as a woman, whatever the feminine version of that is, like that is the most important thing you can have, like, ever. The reason why I say that will change everything from how you interact with people at work, your clients, your friends, the people you date. Like, just imagine. And so anyway, you can have, going back to the example, you can have the internal dialogue after this situation occurs of, she didn't like me for me. She just liked me because I acted like a cool guy. Bro, you acted like a cooler version of yourself. You didn't, you were just being a cooler version of yourself. You were just being a better version of yourself. You were just being a higher status version of yourself. And she liked that. Why wouldn't she? Like, what's the problem? Why do dudes, I don't understand this. And if maybe somebody can answer me in the comments, why do guys want them to like them for being losers? Like, what's up with that? I don't get it. I don't get that. And it kind of reminds me of like when girls are like, "You leave me if I ever get fat," and it's like, yo, for one, to think I'm that shallow is crazy. And yes, I've had this said to me before. To think I'm that shallow is crazy. Two, why would you stop taking care of yourself? Do you not care about your health? Do you not care about looking good? Like, you see girls spend so much time and money, makeup, and just be healthy. Like, you will naturally be fine. Like, anyway, people are just kind of like obsessed with this whole thing of being loved as like the lowest version of themselves. And maybe because they think, all right, so I don't know what exactly happened with the video. I don't know where it left off, but I'm gonna just put it like this. Life is way too short to not be living in the skin of the best, most confident winner version of yourself. It's way too short not to experience what life is like when you are that version of yourself. I'm not telling you to be somebody else. I'm not telling you to be somebody different. But what I am saying is to be a better, if not the best version of yourself. That's all I'm saying. And we got here by talking about interpretation because when you are the best version of yourself or a way better, confident, higher status version of yourself, your interpretation of reality, of other people, of yourself, your interpretation is completely different. And because your interpretation is different, the way that conversation goes, the way you respond, the things that come from relationships, friendships, interactions, the things that come about from that version of you is no comparison to what you're dealing with right now. Even if you are operating at a high level, there's always higher, there's always better, right? Like, I got an opportunity to work with one of, I'll just put it like this. She is the leader of her industry. And I got connected with her because of how I carried myself and because of the work I did prior to meeting the people that I met. But because I carried myself a certain way and because I was optimistic and open minded, and, I'm like, oh, I went to a networking event and I got connected with people, and I went there with an optimistic mindset. And every conversation I interpreted as getting me closer to whatever goal was going to come out, because something was going to come out of it. I just didn't know what, I just didn't know what exactly was going to be. And so I'll end it with that. Actually, I'll end it with a good quote because why not? Let's see. I'm just looking at some things I got here because I was going through, I was going some, I can't even talk. I was going through some of my old tweets and I was like, yo, these are some bangers. Like, these are some bangers. And I'm trying to find one that goes right along with what I was talking about. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right, here's the one. Some of us, or some of the most important lessons in life can only be learned through experience. Can't learn how to be a man or how to father a child by sitting in a classroom. So, with that being said, you're not going to get better at communication by not talking to people. You're not going to get better at sales if you never hop on the phone. You're never going to get better. This is because of a conversation I had earlier today. You're never going to get better at making content if you never turn on the camera and record. Boom! I'll see you in the next one.